the reason why we are not able to share our struggles is because asking for help, showing vulnerability is seen as weakness. And it doesn't matter whether it's small or big. When we ask for help, we will immediately be judged for it or turned down. This is the problem, and that's why a lot of people, they are very isolated from one another. And I think a lot of the problems that we are facing right now, we actually can solve them with just one thing, and that is love. And as cheesy as it sounds, as soft as it sounds, I really believe that a lot of the problems that we are facing, for example, like stress, feeling not enough, feeling not good enough, or even certain medical conditions, like even cancer, all of this actually it can solve with just love. And love, I don't mean in terms of just the romantic sense, partner, spouse. It's also genuine self-love, like unconditional self-love. Like you have self-compassion for yourself. Like even though if you do a mistake, you don't try to beat yourself up for it. You forgive yourself, and then you have self-compassion, and then you try to move forward from there. And also loving other people. Like when someone else cuts you off in traffic or lashes out on you, instead of responding in the same way or being angry at them, you try to understand why they are reacting in a certain way. You try to understand what are their needs in that moment. Because a lot of us that I see, even from friends or even myself, I had to go through a lot of self-healing journey, especially during housemanship. Because when I was working as a doctor, a lot of it was because I need to be validated, or I need to be seen by other people as being worthy of what I'm doing. And being a doctor is seen as, being at the top, right? The pinnacle of success. And that's how I get love, or that's how I feel seen or validated. Yeah. But when we have that genuine love for ourselves, we don't really need to compete or compare anymore. Yeah, because we already know who we are.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it's actually very important. If you know yourself well, you won't compare anymore. Yeah. You just live for your purpose. You live for what you want. You don't really like live at how people comment about you. You will know your direction well. You will know what is good for you, what is not good for you.
Yeah. And a lot of the stress, it happens in our minds. I mean, yes, there's a lot of external factors that can cause stress, like we mentioned, traffic, boss, deadlines, all of this can cause stress. But a lot of it is actually from our mind, our thoughts. There's this quote by this Roman philosopher Seneca where he says, most of our suffering occurs in our imagination rather than in reality. Yeah. So when we are self-aware about this, when we are mindful of the stress that we impose on ourselves in our heads, and then when we have self-love or self-compassion to understand that this is what we are going through and that we just need to accept it, allow it, and then rather than trying to push it away or being too attached to it, we just let it be, because a lot of our emotions are symptoms, actually. For example, if we feel angry right now, we don't feel angry for no reason, right? There's always a reason why we're angry. Maybe we're angry because something that is important to us is being violated, for example. Or maybe what we value is justice. But when we see someone else disrespecting the elderly, or when we see racism or sexism, it makes us feel angry because what we value is justice. So justice is being violated, right? So that's the reason. So anger is a symptom. That's how I see it. Yeah. And also stress is also almost like a symptom. We're not stressed for no reason. Right? There's a reason why we're stressed. So when we are aware of these symptoms, when we are aware of these stresses, only then we can find ways to tackle them. Yeah, and that takes self-awareness, and again goes back to mindfulness again.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Okay, so I think right now we were covering up on the life purpose part, right? And knowing yourself in order to not seek for validation. But no matter what, you are a member of the society. And I think in the end of the day, you still want affirmation and validation from the society that you live in. So how or what is the tips for people to understand where is the border on knowing yourself and letting the society to overpower your thoughts?
Yes, of course, getting validation from people and feeling seen, feeling heard is very important. Like we all need that thing. I remember there's a story by Oprah Winfrey where she says like all of us, we want the same thing, which is to feel heard, seen, and validated. Because she's interviewed many thousands of people, right? Like 50,000 hours of interview. And almost all of them say the same thing, from Barack Obama to Beyonce to celebrities, they all say the same thing. After the end of the interview, all of them will ask Oprah, how did I do?
Yeah.
Did I do okay? Right? And they all want to know whether they are doing okay, no matter how top they are in the status hierarchy, right? So we all want to feel seen and validated and loved and heard. We want to know that what we say, what we think matters to the other person, especially those that we love. And so I think that's why it's very important, especially for us who are supporting people that we love, to understand one another, right? Rather than imposing our beliefs on our loved ones, for example, on our spouse, on our partners, or on our children, even on our friends and employees. Rather than imposing our beliefs or what we think they should do, why don't we try to understand one another first? And why don't we try to understand what are their needs? What are their dreams? What are their goals? What are their strengths, weaknesses, talents? And then help them to grow according to how it is aligned with who they are, rather than what we think they should do or what society thinks is a good idea for them to do. Yeah. So it's about understanding and then communicating and then supporting one another to grow to their highest, truest, most authentic expression and potential. Yeah.
Yeah, actually quite agree with that. As a leader, you need to today only I actually read I got the watch the TikTok, right? Got the what's that, the some encouragement. Actually he said the leader should create more leader.
Yes.
Not create more follower. So if you create more leader, that is actually what you just now you mentioned. No?
Yeah.
You need to understand their ask them what is actually your goal is, what is actually you want to do. So then you are helping them to grow them to that direction.
Yeah.
Whether they today like the bosses I'm talking like if one day the employee left, then they will still maintain a good relationship with you. But at the same time, they achieve what they go their goal also, and they actually at the same time they are helping you to grow your business also. So it's actually one stone kill three birds if you want to see it.
There's a difference between a boss and a leader, right? So a boss is someone who just points out to you, telling you what to do. So most likely they will create followers, because followers are just going to follow orders. They're not going to think or be creative or be innovative. They're not going to find ways to do certain things. They're just going to follow a set list of instructions by the boss. But a leader is someone who actually helps those under them to grow so that they can lead themselves. So a leader is someone who, again, as you mentioned, who understands their employees' unique set of strengths and capabilities, so that at the end of the day, they can lead themselves in their own way and flourish in their own way.
Maybe if you want to have like, because I'm trying to like share how to say, share the positive message for those people who are like fresh grad, right? Because I always have the heart that tell them that don't do a stupid thing like commit suicide kind of things if you get stressed. Like if you what actually can you like give a tips to encourage them?
I mean, stress, depression, suicide is there's a lot of factor causing it, right? And especially in our culture that we're living right now, the society that we're living is quite toxic. And that has led to a lot of these kinds of mental illnesses, skyrocketing. The culture that we live right now, the future is uncertain. And that has led to a lot of lack of sense of control, we feel like we cannot control our life. We cannot control our future. Where are we going to get the next paycheck? How are we going to support our family or ourselves? And at the same time, the culture that we're living in is very hyper individualized. You know, we no longer live in a in a small community or in a tribe of 100 people, right? That's why they say it takes a village to grow a child, and it's really true. You know, I read somewhere in a history book, like it takes 3 family to grow one child. You know, because when you live in the same village, the child is gonna go around, mix with different people, and then 3 different mothers will take care of the same child, right? But now we move out from our hometown, we live alone in our apartments, we go to work, and then we come home alone. So there's an epidemic of loneliness also in our culture.
Join
right?
the community.
Sorry?
Join the community.
Yes, and that's why we need to come back to our roots. We need to come back to basic. A lot of us, we are trying to build things that are more and more sophisticated, right? We are trying to build technologies that are so hyper advanced. But I think the more further off we are with all of this technology, the more far away we are from ourselves. You know, we become more disconnected with ourselves. And I think one of the solution is we need to come back to basic. We need to come back to our nature. And our nature is that we are social and emotional creatures. That is what we are as a human being, you know. And we need to come back to that. And why is there a lot of suicide, depression? It's because of that. Lack of control, future uncertainty, loneliness. They feel like no one is there to support them, and then they don't feel good enough because of social media. They always compete and compare. Everyone is showing off about their cars, their money, everyone trying to get all straight A's, and then if you get 1B, you don't feel good enough. You know, all of these things, we always comparing, competing. That this has led to a lot of distress, especially among our youngsters, because our youngsters are still very dependent among their elders, you know, their parents or their older brothers and sisters. So because they cannot think for themselves, or because they don't have their own sense of identity yet, so they get their sense of identity from someone else, or from influencer on social media, or from their friends who have more things compared to them. And so it all comes back to that, you know, understanding what our roots, and then bringing back that sense of community, or that sense of that we are social and emotional creatures, and we need to come back to that again.
Instead of you always depend on the technology,
Yeah.
right? Technology, and then the TikTok, right? I'm not saying TikTok is bad, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, just trying to say it's actually connect to the nature, have the engagement with the people.
Yeah.
Right.
Like social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, these are all tools.
Yeah.
Right? There's no good or bad about it actually.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's how you use it.
Yeah, it's how you use it, you know?
Yeah.
Some people, I really admire them because they use it to create content, to build themselves, to build their business, you know. They use it to educate themselves. There's a lot of good things on social media. You know, I learn a lot of the things that I know now from YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes you don't even need to go to college or university, get a degree to learn something that you can learn online, you know. Like a lot of doctors, psychologists, scientists are sharing their information for free on the internet. So make use of that. But it can have a negative effect if you use it in the wrong way, of course. So it depends on how you use it.
You still come back. Self-awareness is very important.
Yes.
Right.
Still goes back to self-awareness, being aware of how you use certain things and how it makes you feel and how it makes you think.
Yeah. And self-awareness to before you go and do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Sure.
And a supportive community.
Yeah, supportive community.
Because technology has brought us to be independent, and in a competitive environment, we are just want to be selfish and compete and compare, like what you mentioned. And then that's where we are coming out of the community and finding the right supportive community in the end of the day that will push each other to be better.
Yeah. And this again, there's no good or bad about technology, right? The bad thing is it can make us very isolated. For example, we build Facebook to connect one another, right? But unfortunately, we become more disconnected from one another. Like we scroll through someone else's feed without really caring about what they are going through, right? We're just looking mindlessly. But another good thing about technology is that it has brought us all together. Yeah. Even from technology, I'm able to join webinars or courses online and get to meet from people outside of Malaysia, getting to know people outside of my own little bubble, right? And from there, I am able to be part of a community that is like-minded and being able to share and discuss what I'm passionate about. So that's the good thing of how we can use technology. So it still, at the end of the day, still boils down to how you use it.
Actually true. Because like Facebook or this thing, you create a friends. Maybe your friends from Indonesia or what. But maybe one day you just don't like online meet them. Maybe you can go offline. Offline, just go like maybe go to Jakarta, meet them. Like that is how I have a friends like connection. You know, like add in on Facebook when I need it. Like example, I go to Jakarta, I still can message them. Let's meet up, right? But
it's like how we meet, right? Like we knew each other online.
True.
Yeah, we
LinkedIn.
don't I think Tule reached out to me after you watched my Medic Footprint webinar on Facebook. And then I met you on LinkedIn and get to know a lot of people from there. We don't even know each other before that in person, right? So that's how technology can connect us. And now here we are
in one
discussing,
room.
discussing about something that actually matters to us.
So that's why I think to encourage people is actually don't depend online only, but let's meet up face to face. And even today you say you are introvert, doesn't matter, just go and talk. Because I think I found an introvert read a lot of books one. Wherever you definitely you can connect one point. Don't think that people think that you are stupid or what kind of thing. Doesn't matter, just talk only. Talk and you slowly build the confidence and engagement with people. Then that is actually where you can actually exchange point of opinion. You can learn from each other. Then you have less stress lah. I would say. That is actually
nutshell.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, don't just scroll social media. Go and have party.
You can.
And how you make use of that, right?
There's a youngster party all time. Whiskey.
She say emotional and social creature. Embrace that.
I mean, of course, once in a while we do need to party and have fun. It's part of networking as well. And we can, and through social media, we can connect with many types of people.
I mean, like you work so hard, then you need to balance your life. Party is actually good things, but depends on you. I'm more like me. I need me time, man. I need a lot of me time.
And it still goes down to self-awareness and mindfulness, right? Like, okay, why do you want to go to that party? Why do you want to have fun? You need to have an intention why. So you're not doing it blindly, but you're consciously doing it because of what? So conscious living.
Actually true, because if not, then some people just go there and party, then you take drug kind of things like that. But go with the healthy party. Healthy party with healthy community and the same common interest one. Right? If like you are business, go to the business networking. There's a lot of business networking out there. If you are the employee side, go to the employee community, share the opinions, sharing, then exchange point of view, how to grow together. That kind is actually a very good party. Whether you have your religion community or what, go.
Find your supportive community.
Right? Instead of you are taking all the stress by yourself. When find community, share the things. Actually, I think a lot of people don't dare to share. They don't dare to share what actually happened to them. And then they just like keep the stress more and more and more. Then after that, bocho and explode. Bomb.
Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I feel like actually a lot of people because a lot of people feel I don't dare to share the stress. Like, when you share that, people think, why just a little things you cannot handle, are you stupid kind of things like that. I think the point of view from people,
I think that's where you need to find the people that are willing to listen and care and want to give you feedback. And goes back to what Christal mentioned, that are they willing to help you to grow?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the positive community very important. The positive, and everyone no calm intention to support each other, not look down from each other to grow. Because maybe the incident that this person went through doesn't mean that you won't went through one day.
Yeah.
You can actually be prepared before it happen, right?
Yeah. And again, it goes back to what I mentioned about our society, right? The culture that we live in. It's unfortunate that I think the reason why we are not able to share our struggles is because asking for help or showing vulnerability is seen as weakness.
Yes.
You know, like when we are unable to do something, it doesn't matter whether it's small or big. When we ask for help, we will immediately be judged for it or turned down. Or someone will say, why can't you do it yourself? Benda kecil pun tak dapat ke? Like that lah. Yeah. This is the problem, you know, and that's why a lot of people, they are very isolated from one another. Yeah. They feel like they need to do something on their own by themselves. Even though they're already reaching a tipping point, you know, but they are still adamant to do themselves. They are unwilling to ask for help because they don't want to be perceived as weak, as they don't want to show their vulnerability because they're afraid of being judged. So this sense of worth will be attacked. This self-esteem will be attacked. So what we can do is, this way again goes back to understanding one another, understanding yourself when you need help, and also when other people is asking for help, you have to understand what are their needs and what are your capabilities and how capable are you to help them as well.
I think for me, right, is how a lot of people say me I'm stupid lah. I don't care one. I don't care. Except maybe I mean, good thing that I understand myself, my goal. I don't even bother what people told me, man. I'm not that shy to ask for help kind of things, man.
And that's good that you have that. It's like entrepreneurial thick skin, right? But not a lot of people are like you know. And the fact that we throw around, you know, these seemingly meaningless words, right? Like you're stupid, you're crazy, you're that. It can be very damaging, especially for people who do not have that self-awareness or sense of self-worth, you know. If you say that to someone who don't even feel good in themselves, you know, it's just gonna make matters worse. So we have to be very mindful of the words that we say to other people.
I think actually for like most people, two things that actually help me to go through that: understand myself, understand my own strength. Because this is really important. Understand your strength. So when I understand my strength enough, right, I don't even bother what people say to me because I know this is my strength. Like today you say I'm not good in marketing. You can say anything bad thing about me, about my marketing. I admit I'm not good in marketing. That's why I hire you come to help me.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not hire you that I still need to go through with you, right? But I'm good in communicate people, PR kind of things. That is me. So then I will build that strength to develop that strength better and better. So then whatever that people say, you are stupid in finance, you are stupid in that, I don't care. That is me. I'm not good in that. I admit that. Because everyone have their strength and their limit. No one is perfect one. Even today you are Elon Musk or what, or even your mother Anwar, you still have you have your own strength. You have your own limit. That's why you need a team to support each other, right? So when you see this, right, you won't take it easily already, or even you are from the people always say you are stupid, then you started to understand you need to find the person's strength instead of you look at their limit or their weakness. If you are smart enough, you know how to leverage their strength, right, instead of you leverage their limit. You hire them is not leverage their weakness, you hire them is to leverage their strength.
That's a function of a leader, right? You need to see that.
So that's why to tell the boss, don't be so I'm telling I don't say other people stupid, but then you yourself stupid also. If you don't leverage their strength, leverage their weakness, that is me, if I want to tell them.
I mean, that's why even Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, right, they don't create Apple or Tesla by themselves. Right? They are just the front men. They have specialists or engineer or whole team building it for them. So that's why it's the function of a leader. The leader is not going to be the one doing everything, micromanaging everything. They're the one who are going to leverage on their people's strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think all of this problem, it stems down since school, in our education system. For example, if in exam a kid gets all A's but 1B, most of the adult will focus on that 1B, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rather than trying to strengthen their A's.
Yeah.
So what does it tell about our society? So our society, I feel like we are trying to strengthen our weaknesses rather than building our strengths.
True, true,
Yeah.
true.
But
Yeah.
what if we see our strengths as our gifts and our weaknesses as someone else's gifts? Right? So our strengths, so we make use of those strengths, and our weaknesses, we try to find someone else who can complement our weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, Because maybe for me, because I all time fail. So I don't feel it. I think it's actually one thing that just now you mentioned, right? It's actually a lot of people too focus on their A's instead of the D. But when you come into the real world, right, you won't all time you get A's already. It's totally different.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes that we need to how to handle our failure is very important. Right? Because a lot of them, you always get A's. But when you in the workplace you cannot perform well, it's actually considered you name yourself D already.
Yeah.
You're right. Then you get stressed. You always starting to self-condemn yourself. Why I'm so stupid? Why I'm not good enough? But I'm good in study. Why I'm not good in at my work? That will be things already. I think it's actually a good thing that start from young. We need to learn how to handle the failure.
And self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's how
self-awareness.
you can
Yeah.
you can understand whether is this failure gonna define who I am, or is this the failure that teaching me that I have other strengths to fulfill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also one thing I found is actually a lot of people say, for me, learning style is actually very important. Like, I'm visual person. I'm not that's why Malaysia education is not for me one. So for those people who are fail in your Malaysian education, don't give up because that's not for you. Yeah, for me also, I fail, but I actually doing well my uni. I study in Australia. The education system are very different, and I study design, so I'm very visual person. So I do well on that. So after I go and do the test, visual testing, visual learning testing.
No,
something.
I think
Visual,
learning test.
auditory,
Yeah.
kinesthetic.
Then I found it's actually I'm more like a visual person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why everything that I do, right, I'm using Canva to do one. I don't use Excel one. Then my other partner, right, he use Excel all time one. Then after that, I turn the Excel to Canva one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's good, right? You're leveraging on your strengths that you know what works best for you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in education system, our education system doesn't support our uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's trying to make us like everyone else's.
Yeah.
It has standardized exam,
Yeah.
standardized assessment, and standardized result and answers,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't support what makes us special or unique. Or like it doesn't even really leverage on what our unique gifts.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost about information transfer.
Yeah.
Like rote memorization. You give a piece of material, you memorize, you score all A's, okay, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, not everyone is made for that. Yeah. I'm fortunate because I'm good with words. Yeah. I would say that I do well with words than with numbers. I just like words. I like writing. I like reading, anything pertaining to words. So I mean, linguistic wise, I'm good. Yeah. So that is what made me being able to do well in school, I guess.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is reading,
totally
writing,
opposite.
and memorizing. But for someone who is the opposite of me, they cannot do well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when you don't do well in school, then you're seen as a failure.
Yeah.
And that will affect the student's self-esteem
Yeah.
and
Yes.
identity, sense of self-worth, right? Because we think that our results define who we are and how intelligent we are. But what if instead we ask ourselves, instead of saying, how are you intelligent? Instead of asking, how are you intelligent? Instead of asking, instead of asking, are you intelligent? Why don't we ask, how are you intelligent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice way to put it.
Yeah.
How are you intelligent? Because we're all intelligent in our own ways.
Yes.
So how are you intelligent in your own way, in your own way, in my own way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And together it become a one power.
Yeah. And that's when you
Correct.
can build a successful team, right? When
Yes.
each of us, we can complement our
Yes.
strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, if you're talking about business, right, you need a team to do it.
For sure. Yeah.
And now the very fast paced and very competitive market, without a team, you cannot move forward, man. Yeah, it's so slow because people like 10 people and you only one person, you won't able to drive the company to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of business, you have many different areas or
Yeah.
aspects you need to think about,
Yeah.
right? Finance, marketing, public relations, all these things.
Yeah.
And as the founder, you're not going to be good in all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to need to find people to fill in those
Yeah.
spots.
To connect people.
Yeah. So that's when you need a team.
Yeah. And then also you need to know that who is good in what.
Yes.
Right? You don't ask the PR person, marketing person to do account.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah, it's totally different.
If you're going to
because-
ask me to do account, oh my God, I'm sorry about your business.
yeah. So that's why a lot of people don't understand. He
Yeah.
thought like human, you can do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is actually that's why you make the stress of the
Correct.
staff.
And that leads to stress again. Yeah, because you're doing something that's not aligned with your unique capabilities.
Yeah. And then you just feel they're slow. Yeah.
Underperforming, then
Yeah.
depression, and then
Yeah.
burnout, all
They're
these
both
things.
also stressed.
Yes, so it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So the boss stress, why I pay you so much money, you cannot perform. Then the employee say, why the boss give me the task that I cannot do? I stress. So
Yeah. Again, goes down to self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
yes. Yeah.
Like the leader have to be self-aware about the leader has to be aware about their employees' strengths, capabilities, and an employee has to also be aware about their own strengths, capabilities,
Yeah.
and then being able to communicate that to their leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Christal, just now you mentioned, I think along this podcast, you mentioned your book launch, and then you also say that you're very good with writing.
Yes.
So yes,
Maybe you want to tell us about a book a bit?
yes.
Yeah. So recently, I just launched my first ever book early this year.
Yeah.
Early this month of May. Yeah. So I launched it, and the title of the book is called "Should I Quit? 5 Steps to Discover Work You Are Meant to Do and Live Your Purpose." Yeah. And what inspired me to write this book is actually based on my own personal experience resigning from housemanship, as I mentioned earlier. Because going through housemanship and having to resign has been one of the biggest and hardest decisions that I've ever made. And not a lot of people are willing to do the same, right? And after I resigned, I suddenly had this urge to share my message on my YouTube channel. Because I have this YouTube channel where before this I used to post a lot of random videos of my travels or me singing, playing the musical instrument. But after I resigned, I don't know why, but I just had this pull to share what I went through, and hopefully it can benefit others as well. And another thing is because I realized that on YouTube there were a lot of videos about what to do as a doctor, but there were no videos at all about what to do after you quit from being a doctor, right? And one of the reasons why is because I think quitting medicine or quitting a career as a doctor is seen as a taboo, especially in our Asian society. And when you quit from being a doctor, it's something that you should be ashamed of, or something that that makes you feel humiliated by. And I wanted to break that cycle because I deeply believe that we are so much more than what we do for a living. We are so much more than our career or how we make money. So I recorded the video, shared my experience, and I uploaded it. And I didn't really think about anything else after that, but I was surprised when that video got a lot of engagement. Yeah, so a lot of people resonated with the video, and they reached out to me personally through my social media, sharing with me about their own struggles going through housemanships. So most of my audience are doctors themselves, especially young doctors, housemans. So they're sharing me about these struggles, and they say how they don't enjoy their job and they want to quit, but they don't know what to do, where to go, or how to go about it. So they asked me for my advice. And so I thought, instead of helping, individuals one by one by replying to their texts, why don't I do it through writing? Why don't I write a book, publish it, and at least it can scale to a wider audience, and now it can at least help more people, right? Yeah, and so that's what I did, and so that's what inspired me to write that book. And that book is a personal account, and also it's step-by-step guide. It's a 5-step guide about what you can do if you decide that you don't enjoy your job and that you want to quit, and that you want to find your purpose and do something that is more aligned with who you are.
How
So
to
the 5
get
steps.
the book? I think the most important.
So the book now you can purchase it in some bookstores. One of the bookstores that I know now is popular in Mid Valley. So that's one of the bookstore. My publisher say that they will try to distribute it to as many bookstores as possible.
Okay.
So for now, it's just that one bookstore that I know, and probably they're gonna reach out to MPH, Borders,
Online?
or even Kinokuniya. And so most of my book can now be purchased online on my publisher's website. So kaninbooks.com, and you can just search my book title, Should I
Okay.
Quit?
We'll put
Okay.
it in the
We'll put it
description.
in the link.
Yes, so it's a
Yes.
very bright orange color
Yes.
cover. It pops out so that it's easy for you
With
to
her face.
to see.
Yeah.
With my face.
Yeah. And personally, I'm halfway through your book, and I
Aw.
honestly love it because
Oh, thank you.
I am also not a writing person, and like this book covers a lot of activity
Okay.
and reflection, and I think it's also a journey of self-awareness to the reader.
Yeah.
And a lot of visuals is inside, which makes it more
Yeah, I try to cater to all kinds of readers. You know, the visual one, the one that is good with words, and also I realized that based on my own experience, it's not enough to just read a book.
yes,
You have to actually apply it,
yeah,
Yep.
put it into action,
Yeah.
and so that's why I made a lot of exercises or reflection in the book, so that it helps to prompt you to come up with your own answers. Because that's what I learned from coaching. You know, it's not just about giving the people the answers, but they have to find the answers themselves. So you can give them a bit information, but at the end of the day, they have to process the information themselves and how they make out from the make out the information.
I think another good thing that you applied is that your own story, because that can cultivate the person to add on.
Yes. Yeah. So I try to make it relatable rather than trying to put in all facts, all statistics. Sometimes it can bore people. But when I put in a bit of storytelling, a bit of my own story and my own journey, at least it can make it more relatable to others. Yeah.
That's a very nice way
Yeah.
to put it. And I think for the very last part of our podcast, is there like a exercise or any tips to, even for the eustress, right? In order for the eustress to not develop into distress, is there any method or exercises that a person can do?
Yeah. So the foundation to becoming self-aware and to also create this space between our trigger and response is, as we mentioned, mindfulness, right? So the main practice of mindfulness is actually meditation. Yeah. So how do we practice mindfulness? There's 2 ways. There's a formal practice and also informal practice. So formal practice is meditation, which means we have to actively allocate some time to sit and meditate. So that's the active practice. There's a formal one. Informal one means the things that we can do in our day-to-day life, in our daily activities. For example, maybe when we are in the car driving to work, we are mindful of our breath, of our thoughts, of the road around us. Or maybe when we are brushing our teeth, we are mindful of the taste of the toothpaste, or mindful of how the toothbrush feels, or how the water feels in our mouth, on our face. Or maybe when we are eating, we are mindful of every taste, every texture of our food. Yeah, so that is informal practice of mindfulness. So meditation, so everyone can do meditation, right? And meditation is not attached to any religion. So you don't have to worry about it, because we usually associate meditation with Buddhism or Hinduism, but that's not the case. Meditation is just a practice, basically. It's just a mindfulness practice. And one of the most basic meditation practice that you can do is a breathing exercise. Yeah. So you can take some time, even as short as 5 to 10 minutes, find a quiet place, sit down, and then close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in and out, and then focus on one object. And in most cases, it can be your breath. So close your eyes and then just focus on your breath. inhalation and also exhalation. So do this for about 5 to 10 minutes. And when the mind wanders, as it will, right, you just gently bring it back to the breath. Yeah, rather than being so attached to our thoughts or to our emotions, you just observe it from a third person point of view. You try to detach it, observe it, and then slowly, gently bring it back to the breath. Yeah. So when we do this for a couple of times, especially during the first few times, we realize that our minds are always so busy. Our minds are so cluttered. Even when we sit quietly, static in a room, our minds can be very busy. Yeah. So when with meditation, we realize like, oh, these are the usual thoughts that usually come up. This is how my mind usually works. Yeah. So when we can slowly bring back our attention to our breath, that's when we can build that attention muscle. Yeah. So that before things happen or when triggers come to us, we can create that space and choose how we want to respond. Yeah. So meditation. That's basically it.
Nice.
Me time. Your own me time.
Yeah, and that's also a good time for your own me
it's
time,
actually,
right? Meditation.
Me time for me is actually more like reflection.
Yeah.
Yes.
You reflect yourself what you going to do next.
Yeah.
Calm down. Then after that, reflect. Then calm down your speed, because a lot of time your stress, actually the speed is very fast.
Yes.
Just calm down. Then because you try to achieve so many goals, then calm down. Then you find the goal that you want to achieve the most.
Yeah. Yeah. And some mindfulness teacher, they suggest this thing called purposeful pause. So in a day, you take maybe about 3 to 4 times in a day to purposefully take a pause from whatever you're doing. So like as you mentioned, you just take this one time for your own me time to reflect about what you've done, your progress, about what you're going through. Yeah. So this is purposeful pause. And this is also a type of informal practice of mindfulness, you know. Even you go for an evening walk, you know, in the park, or just sitting down by yourself, you can be mindful of your thoughts and reflect what you're going through. So these are all informal practices of mindfulness.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. So I guess that's a wrap for our episode. I think this is episode 5.
Oh, episode 5 already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Christal, for joining us.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Albert and Tule, for inviting me, and also for Nestspace for providing this space for me. So yeah, hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Hope to
Thanks.
have you again.
Yeah.
Right now, many people are looking for work-life balance when choosing a career to have a fulfilling and happy life. In Nestspace, we are a gym for mind that empower your mental fitness to excel in your career. Join our classes to learn from industry expert, career coaches, clinical psychologists, and registered counselors that give insight on the career tips, career growth, salary, and self-growth. Check out at Nestspace today. Attend our classes for a career blowout.